Good evening once again from the JeopardyFan.com and hashtag Jeopardy Live panel. It's almost like I just logged off like half an hour ago, but this is now the online test special. We've got a brand new panel of people to discuss this year's set of online tests. Once again, I am Andy Saunders, and I will be moderating tonight's discussions. So here we go. We've got some returning panelists. We've got some first-time panelists who've been on the show before, and some people who are still auditioning and actually took the test this time around. And in fact, I have got a comment on the hashtag already. Matt Carberry, referring to something that came up during the last panel. Favorite is one thing, but if Andy starts saying contestants take the online test, then David Kendall should worry. And yes, that's definitely a Canadian or British thing to say write the test as opposed to take the test. I've taken quite a bit of ribbing from Americans over the past couple of months over my usage of that. Let's get into the introductions. Returning to Jeopardy Live panel, first up, Shea Zellweger actually was nominated for an Andy Award for favorite non-winning contestant. Congratulations, though, to Louis Vertel, who did win that category a couple of hours ago. But thanks for coming back. Now, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, you took the test off the transcripts. Didn't actually use the website this time around. Is that correct, Shea?
Yes. Two nights I did the transcripts. The other one there's actually a YouTube video, so I used that instead.
Now, I should just say for clarification purposes, was there actually a YouTube video for all of the nights, or just the one?
I don't know. I found it the first night, and it didn't pop up the second night before the transcripts were released.
There were three.
Were there three?
Awesome. There were three. Was it the same person who? It's the person I'm thinking of who does.
Wednesday was different.
Wednesday was different. Okay.
Oh.
It was Daryl Fry having taken a video of himself taking the test, and then he typed the answers he missed in the comments.
Knowing Daryl Fry, I'm guessing there weren't too many of them. So yes, that was. I'll introduce you officially in a couple seconds, Jonathan. Don't worry. But also returning to Jeopardy Live panel, we've got Donnie Edgemon. Donnie, thanks for joining us once again. Now, did you actually use the site at all over the 3 days?
Sure, I used the Jeopardy platform on Tuesday and then transcripts Wednesday and Thursday.
Okay. And now he's been a contestant on the show before, so took for fun. Also one of the members, I guess, who have done the Triple Crown of game shows. I am still trying to research the full list, but he has been on Jeopardy, Wheel, and Millionaire. Preston Nicholson, welcome. Thank you for coming on Jeopardy Live panel.
Hello, first-time listener, first-time caller, long-time listener.
So if I'm not mistaken, you used the site on Wednesday?
Yes.
And then transcript
videos.
The other two. Yeah. Okay. And our two contestant hopefuls, first up, Dan Blake. Thanks for joining us, Dan.
Thanks, Andy.
There is a flag in the background. Please, panel, we know what it is, but guess what? Dave Kendall, if you are watching, I'm sure you know what flag it is. Please type in excitedly using the hashtag Jeopardy Live panel and tell us what you think of the flag in Dan's background. And finally, last and certainly not least, wearing his Wright State University shirt in honor of the college tournament coming up over the next 2 weeks, Jonathan Graham. Thanks for joining us. Jonathan, how are you?
Hi. My internet went down at home, so I'm actually in a Wright State building right now, since
awesome.
It's not that far from where I live. Yeah, it has free Wi-Fi.
As many college campuses do. Free Wi-Fi is amazing. Now, I guess first up, a little bit of a disclaimer, regarding this. We're not really going to touch on this during the panel at all, but I do want to say that, unfortunately for residents of Canada, the show is precluded from accepting their registration information from this year's online test. It is unfortunate, but sometimes with the international stuff and how laws change, that is unfortunately a reality of today's internet. So hopefully the show can get things fixed on that front as quickly as possible so that this does not become a recurring theme. I know on a personal level, I'm in the contestant pool, so I did not have to write or take this year's test, but obviously from a completely selfish point of view, I would much prefer it get fixed in case I do have to continue to audition in the future. Now, I guess my first question to everyone, but specifically our hopefuls, how do you think you did on the test?
I think I got either 40 or 41 on Tuesday's test. I was 50-50 between Cinderella and Sleeping Beauty, and I'm not sure if I typed in Sleeping Beauty in enough time.
How far do you think you got in typing in? Because I'm, as far as I have always been told, they generally are lenient, and there is a good chance they would count, if you have like Sleepin', or even like the beginning of Sleeping Beauty, they would probably be like, well, it looks like this person intended to type in Sleeping Beauty, but just simply ran out of time. So, so I will hopefully say that they would accept your answer. Now, Dan, how did you think you did?
I took it on Thursday. I'm fairly certain I got 41 out of 50.
Okay.
6 of the ones I got wrong were in the first 20, so I was feeling pretty nervous at that point, but then it smoothed out a little after that.
Now, did either of you write any of the other two off, any of the transcripts that went out? I know the show published PDFs of the questions on their Facebook page, and I may have taken those and at least linked to them from the JeopardyFan.com website. So if you're tuning in and not sure of the questions, they are linked to from my site here to Jeopardy's page, so so you can at least see the transcripts of the test. So they don't have I don't believe they've actually published the answers, but they have been crowdsourced.
Yeah.
Now, sorry, go ahead, guys. Sorry, go ahead.
I actually have them here on another monitor, so if I'm looking over that way, that's what I'm looking at is the previous 2 days. I had not looked at them before tonight, though. So Thursday is the only one I'm very familiar with. But
yeah, I took the other 2 for fun. I am looking at YouTube, and I think I had 47 on Wednesday and 39 on Thursday.
Now, was that just a matter of do we think Wednesdays was significantly easier than the other tests then?
Definitely.
I've heard that it was. Looking through it here, I mean, a lot of these I can get pretty quickly, just glancing at them, but everyone's going to have different strengths on different days.
Donnie, what do you think?
Well, I agree with the different strengths about different days. I know what stood out to me about Wednesday's assessment being different, it seemed to have more 20th century literature on it, kind of something that either you're strong on or you're not. And, it stood out to me because it's something I'm not strong on. But overall, I thought they were all pretty similar to each other. I went 40, 41, and 41. And that made me think that I may have this, again, off a little bit based off of just personal stuff, but it seemed like all 3 of them were maybe a question or 2 or 3 easier than some of the ones we've taken in the past. Considering I did these without, my normal prep because this is just for fun now, unfortunately. And the Tuesday nights I actually took while I was watching a basketball game, so it's kind of back and forth on the same screen. Like a factoring question I would have got if I was actually watching Jeopardy instead of the basketball game. But, so I thought they were all pretty similar, but again, it comes down to does it play to your strengths or not. Just one thing stood out was I thought on Wednesday the concentration of 20th century literature questions was a little odd.
Now, Jonathan, would you say 20th century literature is a strong point of yours in terms of knowledge base then?
I didn't remember too many of that. I mean, I haven't seen the test since Wednesday, but it just seemed that they were, I guess, more just things that people who've done a lot of quiz competitions over the years would know, and that people, I mean, literature is definitely not my strong point. I think it's like my 5th worst category on Learned League. So,
That'd be my
I'm
3rd
not
worst.
exactly sure.
Okay. Now, do we think that there was a specific hardest test of the 3, or was that kind of going to be a toss-up between Tuesday and Thursday?
I would say, based on my experience, Thursday was probably the hardest. I ended up getting 39, 47, and 35 on my score, so I had a sharp difference between Wednesday and Thursday.
Wow.
Yeah, even though my scores were pretty consistent across the 3, I thought Thursday was the toughest of the 3, and I had friends who took it on all 3 days, and yeah, I think I saw some scores from the Thursday night test that surprised me with how low they were, but part of that may have been their East Coast was taking an 11 test.
Yeah, I went 40, 41, and then at least 39. I stopped researching some of my guesses on the last one, but I do have to say, like, that I had to think more on Thursday for sure than on the other ones. I'd look at a question like, I think I know this, and I'd come up with the answer and Google it and be right, but I still, it felt like it took a bit more work on Thursday than the other 2.
So, I guess one question actually in terms of the technology, but Mara Apostle actually brought this forth to me, and I'm going to ask you guys what you thought of it. Now, I did not really see any of the videos myself, but Mara was telling me that they actually flashed the category before you saw the clue this year. Was that?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, I believe that's different than the previous, where everything came up at once. Now, do you think, seeing the category for just a little bit, do you think that helped? Maybe get, focus yourself and get a little bit of a higher score on the test.
I don't know if it affected score at all, but I think it definitely helps. If nothing else, it gives you an extra second or 2 in between questions. And also, on certain ones where the category is very specific, if it's crossword clues M or 7-letter words or European countries, it gives you a little extra second to narrow your thought process before the question comes at you.
And I think that's the point Mara was trying to make when she brought the question to me, was that I think she mentioned on her online test last year that she felt it might have cost her before and after clue.
Mm-hmm.
Not thinking, oh wait, this is before and after, I need more. Right. So if it flashes before and after, it's like, okay, you're actually going to be like, okay, multiple part question here. I need 2 names, or a full 3 words, for example, as opposed to the.
Are we sure that was different? It didn't strike me as different. I don't know.
My memory of last year is that the category showed up and then it just stayed there and the question filled in underneath. But I could be misremembering. That's entirely possible.
As best as I can remember from taking the test in previous years, category and clue showed up at exactly the same time, and the countdown started.
That's how it was at least 2 years ago. I didn't take it off the video last year or off the online platform last year, but 2 years ago it would be all on one screen.
Pretty quick YouTube verify one way or the other.
Right. Yeah.
I would, but my technology is pretty. The computer I'm using right now is like my 3rd favorite computer, so it's Yeah. Yes. 2015 was not a very favorable year for my technology. I will say that much. I went down 2 different computers, ended up having power issues, and a third on New Year's Eve I spilled eggnog on the keyboard. So.
Yep, they showed up at the same time in 2015.
That's a good way to die. If you gotta die, that's a good way to do it.
Yeah.
When was the 2015 test? Was it
the 2015 test was March 31st, April 1st, and April 2nd, if I'm not mistaken. It was the day. Yes, if I'm not mistaken, I remember Michael Bilo won if I'm not mistaken, Michael Bilo won a whole bunch of money, and the day of the Tuesday online test, if I'm not mistaken.
That explains why I didn't take the 2015 test. My audition was 3 days before that.
Though I'm probably misremembering which Tuesday I actually had spent in the location that I wrote that online test in. So I could very well be wrong.
Quit saying right. People are going to think you work for Jeopardy.
He wishes.
Maybe he does.
No. Oh God, no. That would be terrible. That would be terrible. I definitely do not work for Jeopardy. Especially
no affiliations.
Disclaimer.
I don't remember seeing you when I was there, but who knows? Might have missed you.
Both the Sports Jeopardy and regular Jeopardy were in April, if I remember correctly, last
year. To be honest, it might have also have been during the NHL hockey playoffs. So there is a. I would have to go back. I'd have to go back and look, but it might have been. It could have also been the 14th, 15th, and 16th of April. So somewhere in that time frame was but not in January. That's for sure.
Right.
I remember it being later.
Mm-hmm. So I guess one overarching theme that always seems to happen around test time: technical issues.
Yes.
So did anyone have any technical issues this time around, and were you able to work around them?
I didn't, but I'll tell the heartbreaker of all heartbreakers here from a friend of mine. He was on question 43 when his laptop crashed, and he had 31 right and was going to get 5 out of the next 7.
Oh.
That is hard.
Now, the good news is it was his first time around with it, and he got into the idea of taking the test because a friend of his was on Jeopardy. He knows he's smarter than this friend of his. So that he didn't quite have as much on the line as any of us would have in the same scenario. I got to say, handled it a lot better than I would have. He's just, well, I'll take it next year. So, all right. Yeah.
That's actually a pretty good way of looking at it. I can think of a few people who would have reacted slightly differently to having technical difficulties at the hands of the online test.
Something that happened to me, I'm not sure if it's because I took it on Wednesday, but I tried to log in on Thursday to see if I could take it on the platform. And it said there was no test. It said that all I could find was a link to the college, to like a college sign up or something. I couldn't find any link to the adult test, which I did some research, and it looked like a couple other people said same thing happened to them on the Facebook page, but I don't know what was going on with that. I just took it off the transcript later, but.
Yeah, I had issues. I'd hoped originally to take it on Tuesday. I'm on the East Coast, so 8 o'clock is generally better than 11. But admittedly, I logged in. They recommend get there plenty of time beforehand, but it was only about 3 or 4 minutes before the test was supposed to start. I went to log in. It wouldn't accept my password, and I don't log into the Jeopardy website all that often, so maybe I forgot my password. So I'm trying to go through any of the ones I normally use. And it just wouldn't do anything. And then similarly, it was showing that there's no test available. But Thursday I had no problem. I got there about 20 minutes beforehand, logged in, all fine.
Yeah. And by the way, a couple people are chiming in. Last year's was April 14th through the 16th, 2015, which actually makes sense because now that I think about it. But yeah, so yeah, it was. I was simply thinking of the wrong night. I was also attempting to play Scrabble while. Yes, I was at my fun story. Well, my fun story. I actually was given a bye at a Scrabble tournament I was playing in that evening to write the online test. So I just simply misremembered which tournament I was at. Oh dear.
The life Andy leads.
It's a good luck.
Yeah. I think that about half of my friends or more were not able to write the Tuesday test, but fortunately I was.
Okay. But now, were they able to take the test on different days?
I think most of them were.
So, I mean, weird question, and I'll ask it for you guys, and let's discuss this. Do we think, difficulty in accessing the online test is almost by design to figure out how smart somebody is in following directions?
No, if they don't follow directions, they better get ready to get yelled at by Maggie.
Well, yeah, that's pretty much a good way of looking at it.
The technical difficulties I was seeing people have, I mean, some of them were very clearly avoidable, like, oh, help, I forgot my password, and it's 2 minutes before. I was like, well, that sucks, but you could have tried to log in the day before just to make sure. No offense to anyone on the panel.
That's true.
I logged in early.
But no, there were some, like, oh, it crashed in the middle of my test, where it's like, well, that if that was by design, that's awful. But
no, that's not that. No, that wouldn't be by design. No, I don't.
But
think that would be by design.
I did wonder, because it actually happened to me last year when I went to log in the day before for my online test. It said, your password's not valid, and I had them send me a password reminder, and based on the requirements, I was like, I'm pretty sure my original password was valid, but okay, I'll put it back in. So I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, on last year's sports Jeopardy tryout test, they actually put up the regular Jeopardy tryout test instead for over half of the people, and I was one of them. So they had to write a second test because there had only been one test day, but eventually, like about a month later, I was able to take this makeup test because of that error. But I don't think that had anything to do with not following directions.
Gosh, if they could use the regular test for the sports Jeopardy tryout, that would be amazing for me until I actually got to the game day and got no questions right.
So that's why they've got Vinny on the 14-game win streak. I get it now.
Bunch of people show up. Why is there no opera question?
Yeah, I
world capitals for this.
I guess I had a couple of people come to me, including one prominent super champion whom I will not name on the panel, who felt that question quality in previous years on the online tests was a little bit better than this year's. Now, did we find that this year, or was there a or would we say the quality of questions was about the same?
I thought there were a fair number of clues scattered across all three tests that the added information that you come to rely on if you're used to taking these tests didn't actually add anything if you didn't know the basic information. Like there was one about Top Chef that was Padma Lakshmi hosts this cooking, or sorry, they said judges, but she hosts this cooking show. I was like, well, if you don't know Padma Lakshmi, saying cooking shows is probably not going to help me all that much. And then a lot of my friends were really upset about the adult coloring book one.
Yeah.
I mean, I was able to figure it out, but it was kind of one of those things where I was like, I don't know anyone who abbreviates that to ACB. And I feel like maybe one person in the writer's room was like, you've heard them called that, right? That would help, right? And it's like after you know the answer, you're able to figure out why they thought the clue would be helpful, but largely either you knew it or you didn't, and that just seemed odd to me.
Yeah, I've only run across adult coloring books recently enough to know about it because I've been making fun of that phenomenon. But the same deal. I'd never heard of ACB, and I read the clue another time. It was just one of those moments where your brain puts it all together. I guess I wasn't watching basketball when it was on. But the Top Chef thing, Shea. I don't watch that show. I never watched any cooking shows, but I knew in its cooking show the only two I could name were Iron Chef and Top Chef, and I was pretty sure it wasn't Iron Chef.
I watch a lot of cooking shows. So.
I know I definitely had that thought as I was taking the tests off the videos, is that these seem to be just lazy, for lack of a better term. Not, I mean, that's harsh to say, but, you know, like, this is the capital of Nevada. Okay. Yeah. She married Justin Trudeau. Okay.
It literally says it's the capital of Nevada. That's
that's it. So I will say that I expected this to come up, so I brought my adult coloring book with me.
Sorry, is Carson sitting one of those
used it. So the ACB was, I've never called it ACB, but I was like, oh, cool, adult coloring book.
And what was with the Vine? Was that a LeBron James reference in the Vine question?
I have no idea. I'm on Vine, and it was like 6 seconds, not 5.
Not 4, not 5. I was like, why are we referencing the Miami Heat in the middle of a Vine question?
Are there other video sites that aren't as popular that do 4 or 3, or is this like a something about Mary? Well, I can do. You got 6-minute abs. We can do 5-minute abs. Why not 4?
Yeah, like. I had no clue why they threw that in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if I have anything to add on why either, to be honest with you. Vinny's watching because he also seemed to. I guess he heard that there was the issue with the testing last year and seemed to appreciate the joke that we made, but.
Hi, Vinny.
And also, yes, apparently, yes, the channel that I was thinking of, the one that's done by former contestant Susan Herder, I believe her channel may in fact have all the videos. Just that maybe, I guess Daryl Fry might have put his up in a more prominent location for Wednesday, but.
She has all 3 for this year. I'm not sure how. Those are the ones I used.
Okay, I hadn't seen one from Susan on Wednesday, but I guess it's there.
And I mean, I would say, yeah, as much as the transcripts coming out is great, it's also nice to see, the YouTube videos that, people put out, because it's a lot easier with timing purposes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. To actually gauge. Now, on a personal level, I actually have not. I did not go through this year's tests to come up with a score. I don't know if it's because I was worried about jinxing myself or anything, but I did not actually come up with a score myself this year. So if that's why you were waiting for me to announce a score, I think David Kendall might have, but I'm not announcing one. Now, you wanted to say, I guess now's probably as good of a time as any. You wanted to talk a little bit about the upcoming college tournament, Jonathan. I think you're probably you have anyone you're cheering for a lot, or?
Yeah. last year I had been, or the last 2 years I had been getting a second degree at Wright State, and I had been on the quiz bowl team at the time, and so is Emily Bingham. She was the highest scoring female at the last Division II NAQT ICT, which for those of you who don't know is like the national tournament for less experienced college quiz bowlers, and she was our leading scorer and knows a lot of academic stuff, but I'm not exactly sure how she'll do on the pop culture. But when we were practicing for some Jeopardy rounds in December, she seemed to be really good at wordplay. So I think she could at least make it to the second week and possibly the final.
Now, are there? Is Emily the only person you know personally in the field, or are there other people that you know?
I once, well, I briefly met her at ICT, but Nikki Peters once was another contributing writer to a trash tournament that I also wrote in, and I think she may have even edited some trash. So, I mean, as far as the quiz bowl people who might be good at the pop culture stuff as well, I would put Nikki ahead of the others because of that. But that's just my opinion. I have no idea how the others are at pop culture or not, so some of them may be very good at it, and I just don't know.
Okay, so do we think that the college tournament is going to skew a little bit heavy on the pop culture side, or and this is for everyone in the panel, by the way? No, or are you guys usually of the persuasion that, oh, it's college week, I'm not going to watch for a couple of weeks?
Oh no, I definitely watch.
I'll definitely watch. Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I don't know this fella, but there is a UVA student who is going to be on the show this week. And say go Who's to Adam, and I'm not looking at his last name right now, so I'll let Trebek pronounce it. You'll find out tomorrow. Difficult. Sorry, Adam. But yeah, UVA student. Best of luck to you, Adam. So wahoo out there.
I participate in the National History Bee and Bowl every year. Go out to the Nationals and read for them. And there's a couple that I think I read for at NHBB at one point. I don't want to say I know them, but they look awfully familiar. So I guess I'm rooting for them.
Oh, and apparently one of the people is one of Matt Jackson's former high school teammates. Or at least said so on his Facebook page. So that guy, I think his name is Noah. I may be wrong about that. May also be strong. You never know.
And I mean, a lot of it comes down to who can master the buzzer as well, especially at the college level. So.
Yeah.
Now, I guess for the two hopefuls, what audition cities did you pick?
I picked New York. I live in Albany, so it's a quick train ride away.
And you, Jonathan?
I picked Detroit. It's about a 4-hour drive, and it was the closest. When they first had Charleston without listing which state, I was hoping for West Virginia. It's slightly a little closer, and they already had Raleigh listed, and I wouldn't have thought they would have put two audition sites that close, but apparently they did.
Well, they did. You have Atlanta and Tampa last year, so that again, neighboring states. But now, so basically distance. So distance was the only major factor for you as to picking an audition site?
Yeah, for me it was. I don't quite have the vacation time yet to take long cross-country trips to try out, but in the future.
In my case, if Philadelphia is a city, I choose it because my brother lives there, and I figure I can visit my brother and audition and stuff. But since Philadelphia wasn't an audition city this year, I decided to pick the closest one.
Now, have either of you actually been to the audition yet? In previous years, I mean.
Nope.
Twice. In 2001, when we were sending in postcards, I auditioned for the teen tournament in Philadelphia. And that one was rougher because you took the written test for the first time there, and then if you didn't pass it, you left. Fortunately, I did get by it, but that seemed kind of harsh to have all these teenagers drive there to take a test and leave.
It is. I had that for the college tournament when all flew to Orlando to take a test and then leave. Yeah.
That seems a little harsh. And then in 2012, I auditioned in New York as well.
Okay. So obviously, you're hoping that the randomness gods smile on you once again.
That's always what I hope.
Do we have any other random questions for anyone, panelist to panelist at this point, or anything else you think we should bring up? Any?
Yeah, I'll say one thing. Keep trying, everybody out there. The who haven't been on. That's how you overcome randomness. Is keep throwing the die.
Mm-hmm.
Dice. Yes. That hopefully. Yeah. Keep throwing the dice.
Now, how many times have you guys, the three of you who've been on, how many times did you have to try?
I took the online test every single year from its inauguration and got my first audition last year. Thankfully passed the audition on the first try, but so was that 9? Did it come out in 2006?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
2006,
Took me 9, and I know for certain that I passed at least 7 of those. So, yeah.
I'm with Shea. I took it every year since the online test started. I don't know how I did on each test. I know that there are 2 years since then that I haven't taken before this one, so I didn't take it in 15 because I just auditioned, and I didn't take it in 12. Well, I had an audition in 12, but I can't remember the year after. I guess it's the year after I didn't take it, so 2013 I didn't take it. How many we decided is probably 8 tests, 7 or 8 tests, netted me 2 auditions. I don't think I passed it every time. I think I probably passed most of the time, but not every time.
I took it 4 times before getting the audition. If we use the score that they think might be the passing score, I passed every time, although there were a couple that I just barely passed. But I was lucky, like Shea, to get chosen after my first audition, so I just had to do it 4 times.
Mm-hmm. And from my perspective, I'm still in the pool. My last one was my 3rd in-person audition. Twice in Toronto, once in Kansas City, and the randomness got. Well, the 2005 was was the last year before the online test. 2 days after finals, and it did not go as well as I would have liked because I spent too much time worrying about finals. 2008 was the first time the randomness god smiled on me on the online test. After the online test, auditioned then, and then didn't get another audition till this past year. So that's so yeah, 0 for 2 so far. 0 for 1 definitely. Maybe 0 for 2. We'll see if anything happens in the next 11 months. But
positive thoughts, good karma, etc., etc.
Still pulling for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see what happens. Do we have any other questions? Anyone else? Nothing really on the hashtag at this point. But
okay, I have a question for Andy.
Okay.
do you think that the reason that they had audition cities in Detroit and Minneapolis was because they were trying to reach an 11th hour agreement with Canadians and have the sites somewhat close in if so that the Canadians wouldn't have to travel as far on short notice?
It's quite possible that that might have been the case. It certainly wouldn't have been within, it seems like it would have been a good idea to have those cities, especially, now, that being said, if I'm not mistaken, Detroit and Minneapolis may have been cities in 2014. I know it was in 2014. My brother auditioned in Detroit on 2014, but
yeah, they usually have a couple upper Midwest cities. So what was it last year? Chicago and
yeah, they've had Chicago, they've had Detroit, Minneapolis. Yeah, Kansas City was the Midwest city last year, and that was the only Midwest city. So
yeah, that's why I chose Atlanta, because it was the closest, even though it was really far, but I didn't get selected.
Did I see they were doing Oklahoma City this year? Was that?
I did see that. Yes, Oklahoma City is one of them.
Yeah, I'd never seen it before.
That wouldn't have been a bad drive from KC.
I saw in the West Coast there was Los Angeles and San Diego, and I don't think there was anything else farther west than Oklahoma or Texas that I remember. And those aren't particularly distant from each other, so tough luck for anyone in the Northwest, I guess.
That being said, I think they may have come to Seattle and San Francisco from last year's testing a little bit, still about to do those auditions, so that might have had something to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I believe I heard some stories from either, I think Seattle and San Francisco auditionees got a save the date shortly before this set of online testing.
Well, and wasn't there a special testing event in Houston this past year?
Yes, because I think their affiliate might have changed, and therefore their new affiliate would have been like, okay, we're doing a special test.
So they hit Southwesterners. So, yeah, I think the entire western area is getting covered, except maybe Colorado. But
I don't know how anybody in Houston watches, and hopefully this is what the affiliate change is fixing, because it was on at 3 in the afternoon.
Yes. I am in complete agreement with this. Houston should run Jeopardy as late as possible. 7:30.
So should Kansas City. Just saying.
7:30 would be a great time for Houston to run Jeopardy.
Literally, the only reason I have a DVR, is because Jeopardy airs at I think 4 in Kansas City, 3:30 in Kansas City.
Yep.
Only reason I pay for a DVR.
I also have a DVR.
Now, Grant,
I need to talk to you at some point so that we can discuss.
We're supposed to be meeting up in a couple of weeks, so I can show you my DVR.
Right, great. Okay, I look forward to it. My wallet looks forward to it.
So, do we have any other questions for anyone else on the panel?
I'm just out of curiosity, morbid curiosity. The sports Jeopardy test, you mentioned that. What kind of level of difficulty is that test?
I have personally never written it myself. Jonathan, can you speak to that at all, or can any of the others speak to the difficulty of the sports Jeopardy test?
I think that I thought it was probably a little harder for the average sports fan to get a 70% on the sports Jeopardy test than the average trivia fan to get a 70% on the regular test, but not that much harder. But, I still got one question less than what Vinny said he got on his test. Now it's out of 30 instead of the 50 for the regular test. Or at least it was last year. They may boost it up to 50 this year. But it was pretty balanced between lots of different sports. And they had enough obscure sports that getting in the high 20s would be difficult for people who just followed a few of the major sports.
I also took it last year. I do remember that it was shorter. I think 30 is right. And for me, obscure sports are what's going to save me. Baseball's my weak point, but give me questions about curling and ski jumping, I'll be all right.
Now, I'm still very confused about whether or not we're actually allowed to go on Sports Jeopardy.
In fact, you, as far as I've been told, you are in fact allowed to go on Sports Jeopardy.
So I've seen former contestants go on, but there's
Yes.
also this big thing in the rules that says you're not allowed. So
I think that what happened. They have just copied and pasted boilerplate where it says Alex Trebek, and didn't realize maybe we should change this to Dan Patrick.
oh.
Yeah, like
That
if
would make
you read that whole list of rules on the Sports Jeopardy site, like
It all
clause,
says Alex Trebek, yeah.
it does, but it also like in like rule 18 or whatever, it says for the teen tournament, coming home, for the college tournament. It's like, I mean, maybe. I mean, for the current format, it'll take like 15 weeks to do a tournament, but who knows? They might want to someday.
Mm-hmm.
Tony couldn't afford to pay a lawyer another hour to rewrite that doc.
Yeah,
Can't do a search all and replace Alex Trebek for Dan Patrick.
I've actually coined a term called daily double duty for going on both shows. You know how in auto racing there's double duty for going on the Indianapolis 500 and the NASCAR 600 mile race the same day, and so I just thought, why not call going on both of these shows daily double duty?
Well, Preston, that could be your quadfecta.
I know. I'm going to start studying now. Just memorize every sports team ever. Done.
Don't forget the Hartford Whalers. That's all I can say.
And the Bad News Bears.
No, that's not a thing.
But yeah, I think there have been a couple of people so far, for sure, who have been on both. Kate Waits from late 80s Jeopardy made Sports Jeopardy last season. Chris Pay, former Jeopardy Live panelist, has done double duty. I can't quite think of anyone else off the top of my head, but I'm sure there are more.
There's been a few. Claudia Perry has been on both.
Mm-hmm.
Dan McShane, Brandon Libby. Actually, Dan McShane and Brandon Libby were both from my week of shows, so it's kind of interesting.
Okay.
And they were like 2 episodes apart, so I wonder if they had even, I wonder if they were in the same week of taping. I don't know. Yeah.
Oh,
they
he
take
had
place by the
Siddharth
time?
Chandrasekhar.
Yes, okay. That makes sense. So yeah. Any other questions at this point? The hashtag is kind of coming up a little bit on the slightly more dead side at this point, but
Very dead.
Okay, what is Maggie like? I mean, a lot of people come on the panel and say, you all know what Maggie is like, and I always think, I don't know what Maggie is like. And so, what is Maggie like?
So imagine someone really boisterous, and then just imagine that they're very reserved compared to Maggie. She's very loud, she's very in your face, very happy all the time, remembers people, it's scary. I mean, she has a memory like it's ridiculous. She'll just look at you and be like, oh yeah, I met your sister at the thing. You're like, what? Yeah, 20 years ago. Yeah, but just she's a force of personality.
Dave, I was going to say, imagine a chain reaction, and then Maggie's bigger than that, has more energy than that.
Yeah.
But it's positive.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't want to be on her bad side because I wouldn't want that energy coming at me in the wrong way. Positive, and it's not just her. The other 3 contestant coordinators are similar, just with a little different personalities. They're all very positive and supportive, and they're a part of what makes the Jeopardy experience so amazing. And that's why Alex Jacob, I shouldn't have favorite players on the show I've been on, That's why Alex Jake is my favorite player, because of his Final Jeopardy answer at the last tournament, Champions Final Jeopardy. He said what we all wanted to say, right? With the thank you to the staff of the best show on TV or whatever he wrote. So that's about them, and Maggie's the symbol of that, but they're all
they're all fantastic.
Yeah, my thought with Maggie has always been she makes you feel special, and she makes you feel like they couldn't wait to get you on the show. You know, she has a way of connecting with each person in the room in a way that makes you feel like, oh my God, they chose me. You know, they saved the spot just for me. So
I mean, she walked into my green room briefing, and the first thing she said right off the bat was like, "Just so everyone knows, now Shea, I know you're a preacher, but we're not on the air, the cameras are not rolling, so I have free use of language." I was like, that's fine, I'm good with that. but like just the fact that she could look right at me and know that when we had not interacted in 7 months was just like, okay. And then you start hearing these stories about she remembers people from all the time and tidbits about that, not just like faces, but like really you feel like she knows you and cares about you, and it's awesome.
Hundreds of people at a year, and going back for years, she's everybody's best friend. The things that say about remembering people too, it's amazing. You walk in, and all 4 of them know who everybody is. All the players that they know them all, and granted, they have our headshots from that Polaroid, and they have video from us at the audition, but they know who each of us is, and they're addressing us by name. And I just got off a bus and had, you know, I don't know where I am. I'm in Hollywood, and this is confusing, not technically Hollywood. And they're instantly there supporting us, making us feel super comfortable. That's what the day for me at that point, there were no nerves. It was all competition, despite how I performed. Hard to believe, but it was all competition because they put me in a very comfortable state.
I went back for the decades tournament taping, the quarters, semis, and finals, and that was about 3 years after I taped, and I was on one episode. I didn't win, you know, so I was a second place finisher. But she remembered me when I came back, and Rocky Schmidt, one of the executive producers, remembered me as well, which was like, how do you remember me? So
well, it's a lot easier to remember a redhead than other people because there are so few of us.
Well, there you go.
Although, if you may have noticed, in the past 3 weeks, haven't there been 5 or 6 redheads? Megan Metcalf, Kyle Webb, the 2 challengers for Fred on Monday, and someone on Wednesday or Thursday, and there may have been a 6th one. But usually there are like 4 or 5 redheads a year, and there have been all of them in the past 3 weeks, and I'm just wondering what...
I have a theory about this. I've been doing some research for an article that I'm going to put on to the site in a couple of weeks. But you know how prior to them banning ties, there were about I think they were at about 50 ties in the history of Jeopardy, and then they had 4 in 25 episodes. So clearly they had a bunch of only a few redheads, and now they've got a bunch of redheads.
So they're going to ban redheads.
They're going to ban redheads in about 3 weeks. Watch it.
Just like that.
See, I was wondering.
Sorry, guys.
I was wondering if that was a confirmation bias on John's part, because I remember as I was watching, going through my audition process, looking and being like, wow, a lot of the guys that do well on here have beards. So it's weird what you notice at certain times in Jeopardy. Like, there's a streak of beardy guys, and then about a month ago, there was a run of, it felt like there were way more women than usual, which was super cool to see. So,
well, and you can, if you just throw in the dice randomly, get some outlier stuff. My audition in D.C., the one that worked out for me, was all guys. 22 guys.
Wow.
Yeah, you don't check a male-female box, as I recall. So it was just, I mean, I guess they could screen on me and try to draw some conclusions, but I suspect they don't. So that's just kind of how it broke. Now the afternoon session, the folks came in after, there were definitely someone in there. It was just weird. That morning session, looked around, it was all guys and Maggie, all guys and Maggie. And so
You planned it that way.
you might have.
She'd probably tell you that too.
Yeah. I don't know. I just wish I was on. No, I don't wish I was on the other half. I liked Glenn and Karina. Though, yeah. By the way, for context's sake, Shea and I were at the same audition, just in different groups.
Opposite sides of a wall.
Yeah. Yep. We had different contestant coordinators. But no, Glenn and Karina are both very awesome, and on our half of the room, they made people feel very much welcome and like they were having an incredible experience. So it just doesn't. It's just not Maggie. It's all of them for sure. So
yeah, all four are superb, and Maggie wasn't my coordinator, so to speak. I ended up getting calls and everything from someone else, but yeah, I think just because Maggie is kind of that forceful personality and takes over the room, she becomes shorthand for the contestant coordinators as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she gave the briefing my day. Is she always the briefer, Preston and Shea? Did you guys get the briefing?
She was mine, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, she stood up in her leather boots and her leather skirt and just went for it.
Hey, she had the same outfit my day too.
Yeah, that's really just it seems like something she'd wear a lot.
She wears a scarf. She wears like a scarf, leather jacket, leather boots, leather skirt.
By the way, we have a message from Vinny on the hashtag. Hashtag Jeopardy Live panel isn't dead. There, happy now?
Thanks, Vinny.
Thanks,
Well
Vinny.
done, Vinny. You rock.
Okay. So any other questions at this point?
When is the tournament of panelists?
Anything to play more, right? I will walk over anybody I've ever met in my life to play again. We'll auction off vital organs to play again.
Yes. You know, I selfishly
to play again.
When Alex had his surgery, I was like, I wonder if he's going to feel the need to retire after this, and then I can go back on.
You're the one who keeps spreading that rumor. You're the only person I've ever heard it from, and I can't tell if it's because you want it to be true or you actually know something the rest of us don't.
No, Maggie said it in 2012 when I taped. She said it, but how does she know? You know, at that point she wasn't a producer.
No, I was told this after my showing. I think it was actually on my Jeopardy Live panel appearance after the fact. Someone was like, "You know, the fine print just says Alex Trebek, right? Like, you're allowed to go back on." I was like, "Really? Ooh."
I thought that was all about keeping Fleming era players eligible. Is the way I read that.
Probably, but the way the contract's written, it now makes us theoretically eligible.
All right, so all I need is a pseudonym and a disguise, and I'll be good to go no matter what they play by.
No, Maggie will spot you.
Yeah, Maggie will spot you.
She'll be like, nice mustache.
Nice
I will dye
mustache,
my
John.
hair to go back on Jeopardy. If the redheads are outlawed, I will dye my hair.
Maybe I should dye my hair red. That would do it.
I don't know if I could dye my hair. I'd shave my head.
Ooh, I couldn't do that.
Okay,
No.
I just wanted to make it clear that I'm rooting for Emily in the college tournament. If I made it sound earlier like I was rooting for Nikki instead, I mean I will root for Nikki against her two opponents, but that Emily is my primary rooting interest since she was my teammate last year, and we played well at a lot of tournaments together, and I will be at her watch party on Tuesday.
Okay. Well, I will tell you, if you've never been to a watch party before, I will say they are a lot of fun. So.
Yep, this is my first watch party.
They're pretty delightful. Does yours have a drinking game?
I'm guessing there are probably not too many people who are 21 or over.
All right, college. I forgot about college.
It just depends. Is it an official watch party or an unofficial watch party?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be at a bar. It could be.
Right.
Well,
A garage
that's,
somewhere.
It would be a
well,
little unseemly for the drinking party for Kids Week, but I think college party, I think it would be almost unseemly if you didn't drink watching the party.
I am not going to condone drinking if you are not 21 in the United States.
In the United States.
Yes. Yes, come up to Ontario, where the drinking age is 19, or Quebec, where it is 18.
I actually went to Ontario the 3 weekends before I turned 19. That's just how that worked out.
Well, you're silly.
Yeah, it was cool.
Any other questions at this point? I hear crickets. So, best of luck to Dan and Jonathan. Hopefully the
Hope to see you
randomness
on there.
gods give you a call and you get an audition, and maybe you can keep us posted on how things go for you. And
Thank you.
Donnie, Preston, and Shea, thank you for coming back on the live panel to talk about the test a bit and talk Jeopardy, and hope
Happy
to
to
have
be
you
here.
guys back on at some point. So if you want to come on, just let me know. So thank you all for also tuning in to to both panels this evening, and also, especially to Vinny, and congratulations on your 14 victories so far. Do you think pieces have started as to online? That's for sure. And I've seen some debate on Vinny's streak on Buzzer Blog. So yeah, thank you for all of that. And it's a lot. Jeopardy's been a lot of fun recently. I will say that much. So.
It has.
Mm-hmm. So for everyone here at Jeopardy Live panel, let me see if I can get the credits working. I'm certainly going to be hopeful about that one. Looks like this will actually work better than the last time. Come on, work. Yay, we worked. Awesome. So yes, for everyone here at the JeopardyFan.com and Jeopardy Live panel, thank you very much for tuning in and taking part, and have a very great night.